Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, this is Safer Dave Wisniewski here with
Tom Dean, attorney for cannabis.
and we're here to remind you to get out and vote yes on Prop 207 today or tomorrow. Well, I guess today everything's already closed down, but that's the last day you could vote, and the suspense is so thick in the air you could swim through it. You could cut it with a knife. But today, we're here to remind you why it's important to vote yes on Prop 207.
Really important.
Tom, take it away.
Important. We really need you to get out there. If you haven't already voted, I know you're thinking, well, gee, I don't want to go out there. There might be a line, this kind of thing. Who cares? You got to get out and you got to vote yes for 207. This is a huge step forward in the state of Arizona and for America, really, towards marijuana cannabis legalization. I think this is anybody who's saying vote no at this point. I mean, I don't really believe that they're that interested in meaningful cannabis reform. This is a definite step forward, and we need everybody to get out there because it's going to be close. It's going to be really close, and every vote counts.
Tom, approximately how many arrests each year are going to be eliminated if Prop 207 passes?
Well, since we've been tracking this since 2006, we know that between 15 and 18,000 people are arrested every year for possession of marijuana. There are a lot of people who get charged with possession of marijuana who are never arrested. I would say probably well over half. So if you count those people as well, you're looking at 30 to 40,000 people a year who are charged with possession of marijuana that won't be charged anymore as long as they're not in possession of more than they're allowed to have under this law.
Now, keep in mind, this law makes 1 ounce of flower legal. Of that ounce, 5 grams may be in concentrate form. It legalizes 6 plants of home cultivation, and it allows adults to buy their cannabis from marijuana establishments. So let's talk real quick about this anti-raid provision we talked about the other day. Now, how is this going to help people no longer get raided if they're growing cannabis at their house?
Yeah, this is an important part. I mean, right now, today, law enforcement can search your home, search your car based solely on the odor of marijuana. They don't need to prove that you're doing anything illegal. They don't have to even go out and figure out whether you're a medical marijuana patient first. They smell marijuana, they can search your car. If it's at your home, they can get a warrant based solely on the odor of marijuana. No longer. Under 207, they have to have actual evidence of criminal activity. So they'd have to be able to prove to the judge before they get the warrant to come and kick your door down that you have more plants than you're allowed to have, or that you're engaging in illegal sales of your cannabis. Something that's going to actually require them to go out and do real police work. So that's a big improvement from what the 207 is going to be a huge improvement in the safety of Arizonans and cannabis consumers all over the state. Safety in their home, safety in their car, safety in their person from being subject to law enforcement intrusions.
And last but not least, how is this going to change the DUI situation from what it is right now?
Yeah, and that's another huge benefit. One that's very near and dear to me. I've fought very hard for this. I know that the people drafting the initiative weren't initially very friendly to the idea, but in my view, you can't really have legalization unless you have also DUI protection, because how is marijuana legalized if every time you get behind the wheel, you're automatically DUI just because you have THC in your system?
That'd be pretty jacked up.
Well, that's what it is right now. That's the state of the law right now. You go out there, you might have smoked marijuana 5 days ago, you get pulled over, they arrest you, take your blood. If it's got THC in there, or even just THC metabolites, active metabolites, that's an automatic DUI. It doesn't matter whether you were impaired. It's automatic.
That's how it is now.
That's how it is right now. Under 207, it changes all of that. They would actually have to prove that the level of THC caused you to be impaired. So in other words, they have to prove impairment under 207. They don't have to do that now. They do. So it's a gigantic step forward. for DUI. It's how it should be. It's going to definitely make it much more difficult for them to achieve a conviction, in my opinion, under 207.
Well, I want to remind everybody that even though I'm a yes vote, and we're asking people to vote yes on this is not the end of cannabis reform in Arizona.
And those are just some of the more important things you mentioned. There's other things too. Like I really like the idea that everybody who's got a prior conviction for possession of marijuana can have that expunged from their record, and everybody who, when this goes into effect, has a case pending for possession of marijuana or possession of concentrates or possession of marijuana paraphernalia or cultivating up to 6 plants, you can have those cases dismissed immediately.
That's huge.
That's huge. So there's a lot of great. These are some of the bigger ones that I are most important to me. There's other benefits as well. Your question though was
I'm just letting everybody know that just because we're taking this step, it's not the last step, and we're going to keep pushing for more cannabis law reform as time goes on here in the state of Arizona.
Absolutely, we got big plans for 2024. Here's the thing: the idea, there's always going to be ways we can improve. There will always be more to be done towards completely legalizing marijuana the way that many people would like to see that. That is like, so that it's like, you often hear the example of, so that marijuana is treated like tomatoes, where...
That's what I'd like to see eventually.
Totally deregulated or almost completely deregulated. We're far away from that right now. We're not going to get there all at once. Nobody ever has, and I quite frankly don't want to be sitting here 30 years from now, Dave, having this conversation about wanting to pass some mythical, perfect marijuana legalization initiative. We achieve it one step at a time. And we've talked about this a lot. It's like a football game. You don't win football games by throwing to the end zone on every play. You win football games one first down after another, and this is a solid first down. It's definitely worth getting up for and going and voting. It's definitely worth, take your lunch hour. If you're working, you got a job, take your lunch hour, go vote. If you come back a little late, your boss is going to understand. If you have to, go vote after work. But whatever you do, if you haven't already voted, you got to get out and vote yes for 207. This is a vote for freedom. This is a vote for power to the people. This is a victory for democracy. This is a step forward towards criminal justice reform and treating all cannabis consumers like they deserve to be treated, and that is like the productive members of society that they always have been. This does that. Please go out and vote yes.
All right, well, I think we're going to wrap this up. Remember to go vote and vote soon because we only got one more day. Tom, is there anything else you'd like to say before we conclude this broadcast day?
Free the weed!
Yeah. See you guys.